In the recent kind of month or two, a few months, I have been learning a lot about God and about faith and what that means. And today I was just watching a show called Ancient Aliens. I don't recommend the show. It is full of a ton of garbage. It's basically every superstition packed into one. It's trying to combine every religion and every superstition into one theory. It is an awful concept, and I don't recommend it. The only reason I watch it is mostly for comedy because of how out there it is. But, anyways, I was just realizing how most religions, and I don't know a lot about most religions, but most religions, even atheism, it's kind of cold and superstitious in a way because like the ancient aliens narrative is basically that there's ancient aliens that we think of as gods that created Earth and us billions of years ago, and that they have some higher goal than we do. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far into it, and I don't plan on getting that far into it, but that just leaves you, well, like evolution, atheism, it just leaves you with no sense of direction. It leaves you cold. It leaves you wondering why you even exist, or even if existence is even real. And that's no way to live, for one thing. For another thing, that is ignoring the truth that we all need to be saved. And for a third thing, that's just, I guess, no way to live. There's, it's very interesting what man has come up with over the years. And so I've been pondering a lot of big questions lately, and it's been very, very interesting going through. I guess it's mostly because I'm a teenager and just kind of at that point in my faith where I'm, I wouldn't call it a make or break point, but it's like where I'm learning a lot. Not that you don't stop learning, just it's a very interesting point. So I guess I'll start off with something that I have been pondering of very recently, and that is it's a very interesting point because in Christianity there tends to be two lines of thought that we go through. One of them is kind of, I don't really have names for them, but it's just kind of, what I've noticed is there's two ways of thinking. One of them is what I would call the kingdom way of thinking, which is a little reverse naming, but it's where we focus on, like, for instance, America was founded on biblical principles and a place of freedom and to worship God. The kingdom mindset, I would say, is focused on building God's kingdom here on earth. And then there's the kind of spiritual way of thinking, which is more focused on just give up everything and go out there and spread the gospel and basically try to lead as many people as possible to Christ, and then kind of lead by example in life to some extent, but mostly just give up everything and go do what you can while you have time. And those are both very interesting viewpoints. And I know me personally, on most issues, I like to go moderation, like politics most of the time. I don't really consider myself, I tend to be a little more right-wing, but I tend to go more off of who has the right idea, and in a lot of cases, neither side does. But this kind of Christian dilemma, I guess, it's very hard, now I kind of understand it more, but it's very hard to find moderation, and me personally, I've had a lot of trouble with, I tend to be kind of extremes, like, I either want to build a giant kingdom here or throw away everything and be a minimalist and go spread the gospel. And I've in the past had a very hard time finding the middle ground, so to speak. And that's something that I'm going to bring into this video today. So I apologize for how long this is going to be, but I just want to get this out there and kind of make this video for Howland. So on this issue right now, there is a very interesting thing that I have thought recently, and that is about the character of God. Because we think about the character of God. I'm not saying people don't, but a lot of people don't give a huge amount of thought to it. A lot of people just, in some sense, just kind of keep him at arm's length, so to speak. Not on purpose, just I know I kind of did this, and I kind of viewed like the world, not the world system, but just Earth and everything in it, as kind of the opposite of God. And I kind of thought of Christianity as giving away everything, both physically and kind of mentally, in a sense. Like, I kind of thought of it as, and this is not scripted, I'm just kind of, let me think here a second. I kind of thought of it as, like a very, and at certain points in my faith, of course, you have to go back to the basics. And so I kind of viewed Christianity as the basics, in a sense. And I was like, well, God is real, and he sent his son to die for us, to save us from our sins. And we're all sinners, so we need that salvation. And so you need to follow God, and anything else is besides the point. And that we should focus on just salvation. And that has, there's value to that in focusing on the basics. But there's also, I think, value. You have to grow in your faith, and you have to grow spiritually. And of course, I'm a teenager. You have to grow as you're mentally, as you're getting older, and turning into an adult and getting older. So there's a very interesting thing. I'm kind of getting to my main point here now. And that interesting part of this is that I was just contemplating, like, this more pertains to heaven right now, and then I'll get to how this applies to earth and stuff. But for instance, when I think of salvation, of course, everyone thinks of humans. But this is something not a huge number of people know. But I'm a person who loves animals, and I'm fairly sentimental. And so I was like, well, why should, like, when I was younger, of course, I'm like, well, why can't the animals be saved? Why can't they be in heaven? And one of the things, that's kind of the main thing that has had me, that I've kind of been contemplating lately, is like, when you look at creation, what do you see? You don't see, the Bible says that God did not create the earth without form and void. He created it to be this beautiful paradise for us. And so how does that play into Christianity? And when you look around at Earth, it's not some bland desert wasteland like Mars or some of the other planets. It's not some rock floating through space. It's this beautiful planet. This view I picked sitting right here by this hotel and the mountains in the background in Arizona. This is a beautiful view. Now, not everyone likes the desert, but the point being, we have a beautiful Earth, and there's a lot of amazing things in life. And one of the things that I've really realized lately is someone could tell you, oh, I don't see God, therefore he doesn't exist. Well, and I'm not going to go down, the next thing I'm going to say here might sound like some Eastern religion saying, but then I'll explain it, is that right now you can see God in his creation. Not that the creation is God, but that you can see his character through what he's created. Like, not just physical stuff. Like, this is beautiful mountains and a beautiful desert, a beautiful valley, water, and all the tiny and huge things he's created. I'm a very passionate, I love boating, and just the water mechanics of how water flows, and boat design, airplane design. My dad worked for Boeing Airplane Company. Everything about creation is beautiful and complex and definitely requires a creator, and that's God. And so you can see his character through that. But even deeper than that, through humans and, for instance, one of the things that just kind of made me realize this and started me down this road was stuffed animals. When I was younger, and I still have some of them laying around, is stuffed animals, and just kind of that feeling of home when there's a fire in the fireplace, you're reading a book or listening to something, whatnot, and it's raining outside and it's nice and warm inside, that kind of thing. And I was just realizing that that shows God's character. The world that he's made, the people that he's made, and there is no, to me, in my mind, there is no possible way that any of these superstitious religions that focus on Earth just appearing out of nowhere, like the Big Bang, or and yes, atheism is kind of a religion in a sense. It requires faith to believe in it, because I don't see that tree evolving into a dinosaur right now in front of me. Now, they can try to use that argument against us, but like I was just saying, you can see God through what he's created. And so it's very interesting, because like all these other religions, they're all trying to explain something. Well, they're all trying to explain why everything exists the way it does, while trying to avoid the fact that there is a creator, and while avoiding that there had to be an amazing creator who cares a lot about his creation. In Matthew and other places in the Bible, it talks about how God cares for and watches out for every little sparrow, a small bird. He watches out for all the birds, all the animals, and how much more he loves and watches out for us. And so that's just something that I've been realizing is God's character. And that's something that I want to bring into Howland and the mission organization. Okay, I hope you enjoy this different view and that you can hear me pretty well. We're next to the freeway now, but onto the Howland mission organization and how this all applies to that. So timing, I'll get to timing, try to remind myself, but also with my plans, I see this quite a bit, but I've been wanting to create a place for everyone for all my friends and family to gather and to live and have a fun time and stuff. And I've also wanted to just kind of have a place that we could all live there and still be around each other and have fun and stuff. And that was kind of the basis for my plans originally. And so with the Howland Mission Organization, let's get into timing. So that's another thing that I've been learning about recently. And as far as timing, with the Howland Mission Organization, it's been a little interesting, because the two sides of the coin are, if Christ comes back in the next year or couple years, whatnot, then is it really worth starting the mission organization and all that? Yes, because we're still going to be making a difference, and part of this mission organization is, even when we're barely getting started, we will be out there spreading the gospel and telling the good news to people and stuff like that. But also, if it's another 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime, we don't know when Christ is returning. So it seems like it's soon based on what's been happening, but it could be a long time from now. And so I think Howland is the way that I'm kind of feeling led right now to proceed and to start the mission organization. And so the farm in Chihuahua is kind of our current headquarters, prospective headquarters, and it will be a 150 plus acre facility for staff, members, family members, whole families, anyone really related to the mission organization who wants to come and live there. And it will be all living expenses will be taken care of while you're there. And so whether you're coming for a short time visit or staying there for long term, I think it'll be, my goal is to create a great place for Christians to hang out, to learn about God, to worship God, to see the beautiful scenery up there, and to plan some large mission trips. And I don't know, a large thing I'm deciding on right now, I don't have to decide right now, but I'm thinking about the decision, is relating to college, because I would love to come down here to Arizona and go to college at ACU, Arizona Christian University. But I also kind of don't want that to get in the way of the plans and starting the mission organization. And I feel like Washington State, our home state, is a beautiful state, and the land is amazing. It's a little cooler than some of us like, but I like the cool weather. I also like the hot weather in the summers. So I love the state, and the people there definitely need direction and help. And I feel like, not that it would be too late if I were to come down to Arizona, do college, and come back, but I feel like the most efficient way is to start the mission organization up in Washington and not go to college down here. So I will think about this and let you guys know my decision on that when I get around to it, probably a year or two from now. But assuming all goes to plan and we stay in Washington, kind of the outreach goal is to start doing outreach, working with churches in the greater Washington, Western Washington and Eastern Washington. And then also, if we can get Seattle, an infamous city for being corrupt and not a good place, if we could make a big enough difference to turn Seattle around, and then eventually to turn Washington State around, that would be an amazing beacon to the world, and more specifically to America, and also kind of a testing ground, because if Washington State can be turned around to following Christ, then any state can. California, that's a tough one. But no, in all seriousness, I think Washington State is definitely a mission field and a battleground right now. And I think that if we can get people involved, this will be an amazing mission, and this will be just a really cool group of people and a really cool organization, and we definitely have a really cool God. So yeah, I'm excited about it, and this has been kind of in the works, planning and thinking about this for quite some time, going back and forth on whether it's God's will or not, going back and forth on what I want to do, my plans, all kinds of stuff like that. And so as long as I can get enough people to start it and to keep it going, then I think it'll be really cool, and I think we'll all really enjoy it. As far as the people, I've covered this before, but I'll cover it again. To start the plans, the mission organization, we're looking at around 3 to 5 people, a 3 to 5 person team, working mostly or mostly full-time, to spread the gospel, to plan mission trips, working behind the scenes. If we can have 3 full-time missionaries and then some, like, 1 or 2 other staff, that would be amazing. If we can get those people together. And then otherwise I'm going solo, and I'm going to go sail around the world spreading the gospel, which sounds pretty cool too. But I think if we can make this work, this will be awesome. And so Howland will have boats out spreading the gospel. We'll have cars. We'll have people on long and short mission trips, anywhere from day trips to weekends to months to even some year-long trips. Now, that's kind of not the focus, because we're already located in our mission field in just south of Seattle, Washington, is where my parents' house is. And me and my parents, as I mentioned before, have been discussing a concept where we have a pretty good, well-located house for commuting around to the different places. 3-bedroom house. and my dad is looking at buying some property out more in the countryside to retire there. And he is looking at buying the land and kind of building a house out there. And then eventually we would move out there, and possibly, this isn't for sure, it's just an idea, then our house would be donated as the temporary mission headquarters during 2025, 2026 timeframe. So if we have that house south of Seattle as our mission headquarters, that's great. If not, we'll find another mission headquarters, and we can kind of just do nightly meetings, that kind of thing. But also, by around 2030, we should have projected to have the fundraising and support to get the farm in Eastern Washington, and that'll be awesome. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, the primary focus is to know God and to make Him known. That's saying I just completely stole from my homeschool co-op and about 8,500 different Christian organizations, but that really is the focus, and I think this will be great. So yeah, go see the other videos on this channel for other things relating to the mission organization, and hopefully this year or next year I'm going to be able to get this thing started, start the official organization, and if any of you who happen to be watching this video or who aren't watching this video, which you're not listening, so too bad, but anyone who wants to reach out to me, I'm on Discord, and just let me know if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything relating to the mission organization or what the plans are, or if you want to join, those kinds of things. So, yeah, that's about all I have today, and I hope this video has helped you guys. And I'm not going to ask for likes and subscribes on this channel because I really don't care. This is mostly just for the people who are already involved or have expressed interest in the plans. So, yeah, thanks for listening to me, and I will be joining you guys in Washington State again soon. It's been a great time here down in Arizona, and we've been able to put many tracts out to spread the gospel. So yeah, please pray that the Lord will use those tracts, and there's definitely a lot of work to be done down here in Arizona, but nowhere near as much as up in Washington. So yeah, thanks for listening. I will see you guys later. Bye.